Good evening, everybody. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. It's 9 p.m., June 9, 2023. It is Friday. Thank you so much to all of you who are sending me articles. I really appreciate it. I just don't have time to do some research right now, so I really do look forward to the emails that you send, and even if they're repetitive or they're older, you know, some of them are really relevant to what we're experiencing now. I also want to address an email that I received from someone who said that she heard from a friend or someone in the know that sometimes the county lawyer, the county prosecutor, is involved in doling out the torture to targeted individuals. Well, we have a county lawyer that I could see doing such a thing because he protects the criminal neighbors. They'll go running to him. So I would venture a guess that in his office he has all of these signed agreements, you know, with a little gag order and stuff, where they get paid, sort of like other people that have worked on my property, my neighbors, Scotty Clark, who was working on my property and then suddenly flipped a switch, Noble Landworks, who flipped a switch and damaged another gate and decided he was going to negotiate with my neighbors to destroy my property. Yeah. I'm sure the neighbors are not doing it by themselves. They're getting the go-ahead from someone who's paying them. So thank you for that information, that is certainly a possibility, at least where I live in remote rural Kentucky. But that's not the topic of the discussion right now. I'm going to read an article. It's a couple of years old. It's August 19, 2021. But it just goes to show you how possible it is for military-grade weapons to get into the hands of the wrong people. Okay, so here you go. Missouri Army National Guardsmen and Department of Defense subcontractors indicted for conspiring to steal and sell military gear. This is in East St. Louis. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, now it says here East St. Louis, Illinois. And meanwhile, the heading says Missouri. So, okay, so East St. Louis, Illinois, a federal grand jury in East St. Louis, Illinois, has returned an indictment charging 3 area men with conspiring to steal and sell sensitive equipment and other property belonging to the U.S. military. Brandon Schulte, 43, of Jefferson City, Missouri, Jody Joe Stambaugh, 50, of Nashville, Illinois, and Gary Stambaugh, I guess they're relatives, age 77, of Fayetteville, Illinois, are accused of conspiring with each other and others unnamed to steal military uniforms, tactical robots, night vision sights, high-frequency radios, and other functional military equipment. And we don't know what that is, folks. Functional military equipment. I mean, that could be anything, right? I guess they don't want to let the public know that they could be weapons of mass destruction or directed energy weapons, right? These allegations are very serious, U.S. Attorney Stephen Weinhoft said. The indictment charges a conspiracy to steal and sell sensitive military items. Any theft of government property harms the taxpayers, but worse, items such as equipment and uniforms could easily fall into the wrong hands and threaten the safety of our service members. That's right, folks. Could you imagine, you know, some strangers donning these military uniforms and playing Let's Pretend I'm a military, you know, combat veteran or whatever? As the investigative arm of the Department of Defense, the DoD Office of Inspector General Defense Criminal Investigative Service is chartered to protect our war fighters. DoD equipment funds and other resources, said Michael Montalvos, who is a special agent in charge of the DCIS Southwest Field Office. The announcement demonstrates their commitment, along with law enforcement partners, to aggressively pursue those that attempt to illegally profit from taxpayer-funded resources. Really? I don't know. Maybe in this instance. According to the indictment, a scrap metal company located in Mascoutah, Illinois, Stambaugh Enterprises allegedly operated as a subcontractor on a DoD contract to pick up, transport, and recycle scrap metal items from multiple DoD facilities. Okay, that's right. I did read this before. Yeah, what they did is they actually worked. Their company picked up all the scrap metals and stuff, but they signed a contract that they had a very specific method of disposing of these items, and they did not. So they violated the contract. So they allegedly removed truckloads of military property from the DoD facilities, but did not destroy or mutilate every item, which was in violation of their contract. So according to the indictment, the Stambaughs transported the military property to their place of business in Mascoutah and sorted through the items to determine what could be converted to their own use or sold to others. There were numerous military items to be sold for profit, including LED video screens, high-frequency radios, military night vision sights, a military antenna system, military flight helmets, and military infrared thermal imager. So I'm not going to read the entire article, folks, but I just want to demonstrate the possibilities that, you know, these military-grade weapons and supplies can get into the wrong hands. And this is just one incident that was caught. Could you imagine all the others that are not? I would even venture a guess that insiders, people who work inside the military, may even be, you know, how do I say it? Stealing from the government. You know, they know the ins and outs and everything. They certainly know how the weapons work and what they do and how they operate. So it's certainly a possibility. This is just one little tip of the iceberg here. But at least they made a, you know, an example of this group of individuals. So it does happen. So, you know, when you file a police report and they ask you, well, who do you think did this? How do you think it was done? It's not your responsibility to tell them how it was done, right? You're not the investigator. You're not the police officer. You're not trained to be a cop. You're not trained to be a forensics person. You're just going to provide whatever evidence you possibly have, which is sort of like my clothing that looked like they were burned and had holes, burns in them. And the officer, or I should say the deputy, offered that it appeared to be done with a chemical because your clothing is disintegrating. So, good point. And there was no odor to whatever chemical they used to disintegrate my clothing. And I will do a video about that. I just have not had time. I've been like very upset today about the little bird, think about this, folks. In 1 week, I opened the door to a chicken coop and my favorite rooster, Tucker Carlson, was dead on the floor. 3 baby birds were killed this week. Not by the mommy that I thought, by a criminal. Because I had one of the babies in my house as I was recording one of the videos last night, and somebody was in and out of my house and did some very severe damage to this baby bird, who is dead now. And I'm like beside myself. And then Chicklet, of course. It's just disgusting. So whomever the handler is, who's ever giving the orders to do this, it's off the charts. It's off the charts. And if it is our county lawyer has 2 black cats in his office. I wonder how he would feel if somebody would go into his office and do damage to his 2 black cats. I don't think he'd like that very much. But I also want to report that I did get the green cards back. When I was in town, I finally did go to the post office, and the 2 follow-up letters to the Attorney General's office about the alleged investigation that they were supposed to perform, they have not been returning to my emails or phone calls. So, of course, I had to send a certified letter, proof that I have contacted them. Oh, and I also contacted them through the website. I also sent a request for an update through the website. No one has contacted me. No one. Talk about how corrupt everybody is, right? But we need to expose this stuff, boys and girls, men and women. But anyway, I'm getting my birdies to bed. I've got 1 bunch in the coop already. I've got to lock them up before the raccoons start coming out. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Please hit the thumbs up, and I will talk to you soon. Oh, I've got a 4-page document to read to you, a really good one that was written by a fellow targeted woman who I've known for a couple of years, and it's excellent. I think she gave me permission to read it, and she actually wants your feedback. She wants to know if any of the things that she mentioned is happening to you, or that if you can validate what it is that she wrote about. So I will record that later. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading signing off for now.